Well, hello. It's a beautiful October day, and I thought I'd just take a little bit of a look around. I'd like to introduce you to Hazel, our friendly little witch that's keeping an eye on everything. A little while ago, I came out to take a picture of her, and she absolutely turned her back on me. That wasn't very friendly, was it? Uh-oh, I think that she's going again. And then several of you have commented about my wind chimes. So these are the wind chimes that I have that you hear every once in a while. Bought these in St. Louis at the Botanical Garden quite a few years ago, and they're supposed to be completely tuned so that they have a real melodic sound to them, not just the tinny sound that some of them can have. The trees are starting to turn. The migratory birds are gone, and we're going to have a short haul video. Hang in there with me. Outside on the porch again, so you may get a little bit of traffic interference. This is Joyce Banbury with Thrift and Pick Country Style, and I'm going to try this again because yesterday I came out here and did this, and guess what? I didn't get the button pushed down all the way and none of it recorded. Oh well, that's the way life goes sometimes. So today this is kind of an eclectic mix of things. So we're going to look at it, and we're going to talk a little bit about the market and how it fluxes from time to time. I just happened to read a video or watch a video a little while ago about the sky is falling, and they're talking about maybe not having as many sales as you had last year, and this and that and the other, and doom and gloom. And so we're just going to chat a little bit about that from time to time. You know something? The folk's tale that's all about is about Chicken Little, and an acorn hits her on the head, and she thinks the sky is falling, and then she goes and runs to all of her friends, and she says, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And they said, oh my, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, we're going to have to go tell so-and-so. And then pretty soon, the last person they tell is Foxy Loxy. And they go to Foxy Loxy and they say, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And Foxy Loxy is kind of crafty, you know. And he says, will you come on in for lunch? And it will be safe here. And guess what? They were never seen again. And we all know the sky wasn't falling at all. It was just an acorn falling on Chicken Little's head. So think about that little bit of a story and how it turned out before you get all upset about the way the market's treating you. About a week or so ago, we went to a little place in Bunker Hill where they buy out estate sales and go to auctions and buy things. And one of the estates that they bought out was a president of the college, and she had a great liaison with China, which Fort Hays State University is a college town about 30 miles west of here, and they have a really great internet liaison with China. In fact, they're hooked up with a university in China, and it's all done via the internet. When she left the college and moved on to another one, she had left behind a lot of gifts and things that Chinese students had left her. And so I have a few of these that I picked up that day, and the prices on these do not reflect what I paid for them, but reflect for what they were asking for them at the estate sale. So when I get done, I'll tell you what I paid for all these. One of the first thing is this lovely little tea jar. And remember, these came as gifts directly from China, and so of course they're made in China. Most of them are handcrafted and hand painted. This is a nice tea jar. Of course, it's never been used, and I think when I put this up for auction or for sale when it sells, I'll put a couple of tea bags in it just for fun. I didn't pay $3 for it, but wait till I get through and I'll tell you. Another thing is this lovely neck piece, and I have a feeling that this particular piece probably has some special meanings or something. I'm not sure I know what it is, but wouldn't it be beautiful to wear something like this on a sweater or something? Make a wonderful statement. This is all silk thread and all handmade, and the original price on that was not $4, but $15. Beautiful piece. And then there's the little Oriental teacup with a lid on it. And we all know that Japanese and Chinese people really do love their tea, and make quite a presentation of it when they drink it. But this has a little rose on it and some other flowers that I don't identify. Beautiful colors, porcelain, and I just thought it was very attractive. Now these symbols are all good fortune symbols, and if you hang these in your home, they're supposed to bring you a lot of good fortune and a lot of good luck, and they all have a real nice feeling about them, but they're just pretty to look at too. And there's a small one like that. I can get these out of the way a little bit. And then there's a really nice large one with beautiful Chinese wording on it, and beautiful intricate work. And these are all silk streamers on this. Be beautiful to hang somewhere in your house, maybe even in your kitchen, and just a beautiful piece. I thought it was quite nice. And in addition to that, there was a little Chinese basket, which I thought the workmanship on it was quite nice, and has several smaller ones on it with the same symbols that have the same meanings. So you could really make a pretty collage out of this on a nice big wall or something. Very, very pretty, with the Chinese symbols of good fortune, and colors are gorgeous. I love that red color. It's just outstandingly beautiful. So there's one more piece that came out of this that day that I really like, and it's this piece of inlaid wood and hand painted. I don't know what the kind of wood it is, but I do think it's quite lovely, and I do think the subject matter is quite nice. A lot of people like chickens and things like that. It has a little bit of a split on the back, but I think that was already in the wood. And I'll disclose that. Hang on the wall. Be pretty to hang with the rest of the pieces. All of these pieces together at that little shop, when I got done shopping that day, every single one of them cost me $15. That includes all of the hanging objects and the tea jar and the teacup and the little basket and everything. So I really made out well on that little venture, and it won't take a lot to recoup my money for them, but I think they're quite nice, and I think they'll do nicely. I have sold other pieces of her estate as they've come up for sale. Okay, let's look at this one. I think this is really cool, and I got this at a yard sale. Walt Disney World, 50 cents, and it's made in Brazil. Very nicely made, hand painted, I'm sure. I think they've used it for a dust catcher. What do you think? I like the scroll work on the side, so, you know, probably be good for a few bucks, don't you think? The marketplace and the flux in the marketplace. You tend to watch videos and things like that, and when other people tell you, oh, this is good or that's good or something, you kind of want to go with the flow. But I also want you to keep in mind what your market is, because you develop a market and a rapport with your customers as they come to your site or to your listing or to your store and look at the things you have. And if you go too far in one direction, or without researching how this might fit into your merchandise, then you might end up having a lot of what we call duds. Here's one of mine. this is Starbucks. Now, I have to admit, I don't know anything about Starbucks. We don't even have Starbucks around here because we're too small. We do have coffee shops, they do lattes and things like that, but not Starbucks. But I found this on the shelf at a little shop over there in Victoria, and I thought, why not pick it up and take it home and see if it's worth anything? Well, it doesn't have a high value. I only paid $1 for it, so I'm not out very much. But it does not have a high value. And I don't know anything about Starbucks, and I'd have probably been better off to have just left it on the shelf and stuck with things I do know a little bit about for now. So anyway, it might be worth $15, but I don't know. We'll have to see. The research I have done with it so far shows it's really not worth very much money. So we'll have to wait and see. But this may just get, you know, instead of thrifting, it may get back to the shop and let them try again for somebody who wants it for another reason. Now here's something I do know a little bit about, and I'm really interested to show this to you because one thing, it's a very nice piece, and another thing, it has a little bit to do with how the market is fluxing. This is a Sadler teapot made in England, and it's in very nice shape. It isn't broken or doesn't have any nicks or cuts, or has a little bit of crazing on the lid, but these old teapots like that will do that. The inside is very nice. I don't even know if it was ever used, but it does have a little crazing on it, which does not really hurt the value of it too much. Now, Sadler is a brand that really does pretty well. So I picked this up without even looking it up. I just thought, you know, it's going to get $30 or $35 no matter what. And that is probably with free shipping, because most of my things go out with free shipping unless I start them on auction. So when I got home and I had time and I looked it up, I thought, well, gee, these have devalued quite a bit, because last year I sold a similar one for about $60. And this year I'll be lucky if I can get 30 out of them. And the reason is because there's so many of them available now. At some point, other people discovered that Sadler was a good product and are now finding it on the marketplace. That doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it. It just simply means you need to pay attention to it. So this may end up going on eBay, but it may also go on Etsy, where there weren't as many offered. So keep in mind that the market fluxes all the time. It's a natural thing that happens in any marketplace, whether you're in on eBay or Amazon or Etsy or anywhere else. What sells really well last year, the market may be a little bit saturated, and it may change this year. So you want to keep your eye on the marketplace and understand that this flux is natural. Way back in 1998, I sold Beanie Babies. For a year and a half, I had a market for Beanie Babies you would not believe. I made Power Seller in 2 or 3 months, and I just really had a good thing going selling Beanie Babies. Well, the Beanie Baby market died for whatever reason, mainly because of saturation, not only on the internet marketplace, but in the real marketplace. I had a friend who was did digital how-to books in the late 1990s and early 2000, and she made a lot of money online doing digital, downloadable ebooks and things like that. And then eBay stepped in and they said, you cannot sell those kind of books anymore. It has to have a hard surface, such as a disc or something like that. And this huge market she had developed tanked. I mean, it went south really fast, and it was unexpected for her. But she did pull herself up by the bootstrap, and she did keep going by finding other things, hard products and things like that. So you have to learn to adjust with the market. The sky isn't falling at all, but it is changing. And when you have a little stormy weather coming in, you have to learn how to adjust to that stormy weather and get through it until you find another way to approach your market. Here's another one that ebbs and flows. Depression glass and all kinds of glass are just some of those things that have were really good a few years ago, and the market has really gone down. Keep an eye on the marketplace. This is Vaseline glass. I bought these at a yard sale. Very pretty. I really like these candle holders. Hope the wind doesn't blow me away here. I think these are really nice and elegant looking. I could not find this pattern yet, but if you know it, let me know. But I'm still looking for it. But even at that, this is true Vaseline glass, and it, when you put the black light on it, it turns yellow. And this is an ashtray. It has a nice look to it, small, looks like something for a bridge table. And then this is an ashtray with a place for your matches and things on it. It could be used for a lot of other things. You could use that for, I don't know. I'm not very creative without thinking about it. But this is another market, the whole glass market. If you're not really keeping up with it and you buying glass, you want to be very careful and do a little research. You know, if you got a cell phone, take it with you and look at the marketplace as you buy or before you buy. And remember, if you don't know the name of your glass, and it isn't branded, it's going to be a tougher sell. And the one thing you want to keep in mind while you're buying all this stuff is quality. 10 years ago, you could put glass up there, it had a little crack or a little chip in it. People didn't care. They were so eager to find it. But now, when it comes to vintage and collectibles and things like that, and if it's under $30, you want to make darn sure it is in exceptional condition. Now there's always exceptions to the rule, but you can find out what those exceptions are by doing a little bit of research. So the Vaseline glass here, these pieces I think will bring me enough to cover my costs on them because I only paid $15 for all 4 of them. And that's not a bad price for these. So we're going to go on now to something else that's a little less exciting. Which you've seen me buy quite a few of, and that is a pretty little, nicely framed in oak frame, but I probably won't leave it in the frame. And it's just a pair of handmade pictures. One's a baby carriage by the fireplace, and the other is a lady with the milk churn and the puppy dog. These aren't going to bring a fortune, but they traditionally do bring at least $20 up to $35 or $40. I will likely sell them by the pair because I think they'll make a better deal by the pair. I think they're very attractive. You can see I paid 25 cents a piece for them. So these things always have a little bit of resale value. And then going on to more modern things, I found this really nice leather planner or student planner or whatever you want to use it for. It's marked leather and things like that. It kind of speaks for itself. I don't think I'll sell the pencil with it, but I guess it wouldn't hurt, would it? Maybe the pencil's an antique. Who knows? Anyway, it's just a nice leather planner. I think I can get $25 or $30 out of it in that neighborhood with free shipping. Now, also a few weeks ago, I went to the auction where I got the dollar boxes of Avon stuff. And one set, I think I got 2 boxes for $1. So I've kind of picked through those and found a couple or 3 things that I'm going to go ahead and put up online. These are almost all vintage. I can get it out of here. And one of them is the little music box. And I almost always buy musical things. And I also do a video, a quick video, usually no more than 15 or 20 seconds, and put in the listing because it does help them sell. And of course, this is Avon, so, you know, Avon's not my favorite thing to sell, although there was a time when Avon was pretty hot. Like we say again, there's always fluxes in that marketplace, and that's not going to change. You can doom and gloom all you want. You can feel like Amazon or eBay or whoever your marketplace is really doing you bad. But I gotta tell you something, it isn't gonna change. It's gonna keep right on going. Okay, or maybe I should say it is going to change. And you better be able to change with it. This is just a pretty little ornament. I do think one time it had a sound to it, but I don't know if this comes out and I can change the batteries or not. I haven't really gotten into it, but it should be worth $20 or $25. And remember, this came out of those boxes that I got a whole big, huge box for $1. So I'm usually just sell one of them and everything else is paid for. Now, when I got those boxes, I went through them at the auction and I got rid of a lot of stuff. I have a friend who takes a lot of my overflow and gives them away or does something practical with them. So I don't feel bad when that happens, that I have to give things up. But at the same time, I oftentimes come home with things, and then after researching, I find they're not worth much to fool with. So then I go ahead and sort through it again and send a lot of stuff to the thrift shop. And this is just a little angel with a star ornament. It's glass, and it was one of the things that I've kept. And since we're getting into the holiday season, I figure there's a market for it. Maybe not as much, maybe $20. And I always put best offer on my static listings. So if somebody wants to offer me less, it doesn't weigh much. It'll go first class. I'll probably take it, you know. And then the last thing is even less exciting, but it is a nice little porcelain angel nightlight. And I figure, you know, angels are good, nightlights are good. I haven't researched it, but I'll put it up and see. And I also sell on Buy, Sell, and Trade, which is our local way to sell things online. And if that's the case, that I don't have a market for it on eBay or something like that, then I probably will put it up there for a lot less, because they'll just come and get it and I make my money and I'm done with it. Okay, now the last thing that I'm going to show you, I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with it, so maybe you can give me some great suggestions, but I'm going to kind of push these out of the way. Now, going back to our little chat, remember that when the market fluxes, and it will, and things will change, don't really panic too much. Just keep an eye on what is selling. Make sure that it will fit in your merchandise flow and that you're not going too far astray. I still haven't gotten into clothing. It's just something that I just haven't gotten into, and I know a lot of people are getting into t-shirts and all kinds of clothing. My problem is that I think a lot of people who do this for a living, they make some pretty good money, but I also think their return rate is a little higher than what I would like. So, you know, really think about things before you change your plan and before you change your marketing. And the thing not to do is don't be like Chicken Little and panic, or you may end up in the fox's house and never be seen from again. The best thing you can do, and I want you to think about this, is take that acorn and plant it and watch the mighty oak grow from it. Because if you think about what you're doing, and if you don't panic and you don't get upset about things, then you can use a logical way to approach new markets for your business and make them successful. And you can do it better that way than if you're running around saying, oh, doom and gloom, oh my goodness, Amazon's mean to me, and eBay's mean to me, and Etsy, I never hear anything about Etsy, so I guess they aren't mean to people. Okay, let's look at this. I bought, okay, don't laugh at me now, 212 rubber stamps. All kinds of rubber stamps. And a lot of them, and most of them are Stampin' Up, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. And I have to tell you, I don't know anything about Stampin' Up. I don't know anything about rubber stamps, except I did buy a bunch of them a couple years ago, and I bought them at a good price, and I sold them locally for 3 times what I paid for them, the whole batch. So I don't know if that's what I'm going to do, or if I'm going to find a way to make these work online, because there's so many of them. I'm not sure. But anyway, I bought 212 of them, plus a whole bag, about 20 pounds of specialty papers for $50. Somebody had bought out a craft store and bought all the merchandise, and they were selling these in a yard sale, and I had marked them all for different prices, and I said, well, what would you take for all of them? And she says, well, I'd like to get $100. And I said, well, I can't do that. I said, you know, I'll tell you what I can do. And then I first said, well, I can give you $40 for all of them. And she looked at me. She says, oh, I don't think I can do that. I said, okay. And so I left. Because sometimes you have to walk away from a deal. And I went back the next day, which was on a Saturday. And this is just a small amount of them, but I just thought I'd show you what they were. So if anybody has any cool ideas on how I turn these over, let me know. There's a lot of neat stamps if you do that kind of thing. Anyway, so I went back the next day and I said, how much will you take for all of them today? And she said, oh, I'll take $75. I said, I can only do $50. And I said, you know, it's up to you. And I shut up, because I got to tell you, when you're negotiating something, once you put your offer on the table, no matter how hard it is, shut up. Usually will be in your favor. This is true with any kind of a negotiation you can do. I said $50, I shut up, and finally, and I didn't, and you know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes went by. It's hard not to try and do a hard sell with them. And she says, okay. So we bagged them up, and I bought them. And that's the end of my stories today. So have a good day. Have happy thrifting. This weekend's going to be kind of fun, because I'm going to take you back to Wilson, the little town I didn't get to last week because of the rain.